Hi.
Oh, hey.
uh,
Say
welcome to it's episode 4 now. 4. That's the
four.
thing. Sick.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 4 of Late Night Anime. You know who it is now. It's me, Bee. That's Todd. As
Mm-hmm.
always, it's great. It's a great time. What did we watch this week? It was
We watched Misaki Uwasu's second directorial project, Kemonozume. Kemonozume. Jesus.
hell yeah. Um, yeah, it's great. Uh, if I don't know, fuck it. You can find other episodes on YouTube, cause it's a thing. If you want to look at it, just saying that now. Anyway, yeah, at Morningstar Productions, we're great. Seasonals, that's what we're doing now.
Wow, you are
We're
take a deep breath.
no.
Jesus.
Fuck, I'm peeking my mic. Whoops. Okay.
Okay. I talked about seasonals last time.
Yeah.
I said I'd probably drop some. That didn't happen. I ended up starting to watch more.
Really? Shit.
I also started watching more at 2 times speed because some of these shows
That makes
fucking
sense.
suck. Devil's a Part-Timer season 2 started coming out. It's a different studio because it's been like 9 years since the last season, and not a lot has changed, honestly.
Yeah,
The art is just worse.
that makes
It's
sense.
like it's been given to a smaller studio, and it's still the same old show. Nothing much has changed, except there's like a little baby character, and that character's kind of cute, and I have nothing more to say about it.
I
What
see.
else did I start watching? I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. I started watching the best anime of this season called Hanabi-chan, the girl who popped out of the game world. The game world is not a video game. It is in fact a fucking slot machine,
What?
and the girl is just a slot machine. She didn't pop out of it. She is a slot machine.
I see.
Yeah. Each episode's 5 minutes, so it means I don't have to suffer for very long.
Lovely.
And also, there is a bear character, and it's it's a bear,
It's a
and
bear.
it wears a uniform, and it's pretty goofy.
Lovely.
There's nothing much to say about that show, but
Yeah.
slot machines. I love gambling. Gambling is great. I promote gambling.
This podcast does not promote gambling. Um,
Says you.
hey,
Oh,
we
and
legally cannot gamble. We don't
okay.
promote gambling. Anyway, yeah,
Gacha games exist.
they.
There's a surrogate.
Yeah.
I don't promote. Yeah. Okay. Fuck it. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Season 4 has aired. Um, I'm surprised it made it to a season 4, but I guess you
Yeah,
know.
I dropped that after like 3 episodes. No, I don't.
Really?
I don't think I even got through 3 episodes. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow. Wow. I actually liked the first season because it's just so unabashedly an RPG, and an RPG with a lot of fan service. And there's
I
not too much else. I think I kind of like it for its really basic shonen progression compared to a lot of other shitty RPG based fantasies.
yeah.
And titties.
Yeah, no, that yeah.
It's also well
Uh
animated, especially for a JC staff production. And like
yeah.
season 4 is just the show hasn't really changed much over the seasons. They kind of pick up doing something, and they'll do it for like 6 to 12 episodes,
Yeah.
and then the season ends, and the thing is resolved in a cool climactic fight. It's
Uh-huh.
a pretty formulaic show, but it's a formulaic show I can get behind.
Yep.
Right now they're going on like some big mission to go into the deeper levels of the dungeon, and the first episode was just them assembling their big team.
How many of
You
them
know,
are
I'm
big titty anime girls?
uh, okay. One, two. See, how many of them were anime girls? I'm trying to like. There's like four
I
going on
see.
this mission. So
What's the aspect or what's the ratio?
of guys to girls,
Yeah.
I think there's like Jesus. Okay, okay. So you get the main character who's
Yeah.
Twink, guy
Yeah.
who makes swords, and then you have the spear guy who shows up in like the second season, I think.
Okay.
And those are the so three dudes and like one, two, three, four, five female characters.
I
going on this
see.
mission. It's pretty
Nice.
even, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised by how even the show splits it up. I
Yeah.
don't think that even matters though. That's that show.
I
Um,
don't know how you keep track of so many shows in your head. I'm not gonna lie.
uh, you know,
Or you just
honestly,
don't,
I
do you?
I don't. A lot of these shows are so formulaic. I can just kind of guess what happened last week.
Yeah.
Or some of them just opt to fill me like entirely in. Maybe I didn't even have to watch last week's episode to
Yeah.
understand like anything. I mean, do I need to watch like the previous 3 episodes to understand what's going to happen next time when my stepmom's daughter is my ex?
Probably
No, it's
not.
gonna
I don't
be
know.
a show, and I'm going to still
Yeah.
end up watching it
I'm
at two
so
times
tempted to
speed.
pick that one up, but like also not really. It doesn't sound good.
No. If you
And
want some
like
like really dog shit melodramatic stuff, just watch Domestic Girlfriend because that show is
yeah,
ridiculous and stupid.
I
I
see.
get behind that. I promote that. There you go. The best show of the season is still easily Call of the Night for
Oh
me.
yeah. Yeah. No, I've been watching
Oh, you
that.
picked that up, right? Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Did you notice
Um,
Idamur's direction in it after
I don't
watching
know.
like Bakemonogatari?
Maybe a
Like the
little
comparisons
bit.
between the two?
A
I
little
feel like
bit.
I mean you haven't seen as much of like his more like ecchi-esque
Yeah.
stuff and like sexual scenes in the Monogatari series. And I
Uh,
think like they're very similar between this and Call of the Night with
yeah.
like the biting scenes. The a lot of the shots are like really reminiscent of Monogatari and the case study of Vanitas.
Yeah.
Just stood out to me. Also, dude, I only noticed like a lot of the soundtrack in this last episode, episode
Uh-huh.
3. Dude,
Uh-huh.
it's such a vibe. I love the
It's
fucking
so
lo-fi
good.
they use for
The
it. Yeah.
the God, I get like actually kind of annoyed that the auto skip activated on my thing. I need to figure out how to turn it off
Oh, for the opening?
when I was watching it because it's like actually fire. It's so good.
Oh, the opening. Dude, the
It's
opening
so
animation is
good.
so good looking too. It's
Um
they really knew they were making the best show of
no,
this
and
season.
it's like no, and the backgrounds and shit too. All of it, the scenery, it's so good. Um yeah, it's good.
I
And
definitely
then
like the aspect that they didn't like push it to be too much of a comedy too.
yeah.
But it's really very slice of life esque
Oh,
because I think
it's perfect.
the jokes don't go that hard, but they do
Mm-mm.
like ease any form of like tension,
Hmm.
anything like that, make it a very relaxing
For sure.
show.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
very
mean,
much a vibe.
oh,
Unlike
and
my
it's
second favorite show this season, which is
hmm
Made in Abyss, which is fucking horrifying. I fucking shit myself over the last episode. I am.
I see.
It's Made in Abyss is fucking disturbing. I forgot that it was.
I've never watched it, and
It's good.
yeah, all right. I've heard good
It's really
things,
good.
but um,
It's not afraid to get fucking nasty though, and become really disturbing. But I
yeah.
think this like it's part of that some genre of like here are small children, let's throw them into the worst like circumstances
Oh,
possible, like an
like
Alien 9 or Madoka Magica.
uh-huh.
But like this is much
Or
more
what is
brutal
it?
than those other
Neverland?
two shows.
Neverland
I Promise
style
Neverland,
too?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is Main Abyss is like a lot more ugh, shit in it, you know.
Uh-huh.
You're like,
Yeah.
ew, what is that? Oh no, don't. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, characters get injured badly, and it is brutal
Awful.
listening to them like cry and shit. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's a
Ooh.
really good show.
Yeah.
um, there's nothing else that has stood out to me. Everything
Uh,
else has just been like, okay, I'll try and remember like 1 or 2 plot points for the next episode when I
yeah.
try and watch that.
All right. It's okay though. Actually, though Ruby hasn't released a new episode. That's been a thing
Oh
I've
wait,
noticed.
we're even wait, yeah, wait, what?
It
Wasn't that meant to come out today?
I don't know. It dropped like 3 and
Oh, okay.
then
It comes out
it
2
must
days
come
from
out.
now.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was gonna say it must come out next week.
Yeah.
The next maybe are they doing them in like batches of 3 maybe?
No, it was just they released the it was Crunchyroll got access to a advanced release of 3 episodes.
Oh, I see.
I really hate how they did it like that though, because then you have to wait an extra 3 weeks for another episode.
Yeah, it was annoying.
Which I'm like, I know I didn't need those 3 episodes, especially because
They just weren't that good. So
they they don't they weren't cohesive either. I mean, I
no.
guess the first 2 were pretty like they led into each other well, but the
Yeah.
third one felt like this is where the show really starts and it's
Yeah.
episodic-ish plots. and I didn't need that to be part of that. They could release like the double episode first, like some other series do.
Yeah. Ugh,
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm worried about Ruby. It's gonna be a thing, I'm sure. I don't
You. That's gonna be a thing you care about. That's gonna be a thing I give zero shits about.
I know. But
Because
hey,
Studio
hey,
Shaft is
this is
dead
this is
until the
my
Madoka movie
fucking
drops.
childhood. Um it's I yeah, no, I don't have high hopes for it ultimately. That's my take. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I don't have high hopes. And I'm excited to see how badly they fuck it up. That's it. That's it. That's my take on Ruby.
Wow. All right. You wanna get
um,
into what we actually watched?
yeah, sure.
Kemonozume.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Right. What is this show? Kemonozume is a what year was that? 2007? I'm trying to 2006. Studio Madhouse production, directed by creator Masaki Wasa. Uh, he's probably best known for his work on like Devilman Crybaby, Ping Pong the Animation, and Tatami Galaxy. I don't think you've watched any of those though.
Nope.
I think this is your first Iwasa work. He also did an episode of Space Dandy, which is like easily the best episode, but at the same time, it's not
hmm
easily the best episode because there's so many other fucking good Space Dandy episodes.
Yeah. Ugh.
um, this was his second work, and his first work with Studio Madhouse, which he would work with until he
Uh-huh.
started his own studio, Science Saru, just a few years ago. I don't know when he started Science Saru. I think that was like 2016 or 2017.
I couldn't
So
tell
just
you.
recently. Yeah. This you want to describe the plot?
Sure.
The big
Sort
old
of. I can
what the
yes,
show's
we can
about.
we can get into this. Um so it's in a world where there's some like curse from gods, right? Where they cursed these people to like eat that turn into monsters and eat people.
Yeah, in ancient times, there were a group of people that became monster people.
Yeah,
They
and
got big
they they
claws. They're
they
big,
like
scary.
they like to chomp
They
on
eat
people.
people. Yeah,
And then we pick up the story many years later, like
takes place modern day
modern
ish,
day-ish. A little
like
it's got to
early
be
2000s, 90s, maybe. I don't know.
I mean they have flip phones, yeah.
Yeah,
Um
2000s when the show aired. I'd
exactly.
say
So modern at the time. And we
Mhm.
pick up with these modern samurai called what were they called? The
The Kifuken.
Kifuken. And they fight these monsters. They kill them
They have a
and
history of fighting these monsters.
yeah.
Yeah,
But there's been a spike in monster activity. They're called flesh eaters.
yeah.
Um,
Flesh eater activity because they eat flesh. Ooh.
whoa, original. Um,
Mhm. And our main character, his name is Toshihiko Momota. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just Never mind. Never mind. We'll get into that later. I
okay,
just
all
realized
right.
something.
I see.
He is
Interesting.
he is the next to like he's the heir to his father's dojo, the Kifuken
Yep.
dojo, the leader of the Kifuken organization. And he's a skilled Kifuken with one major flaw, is the fact that he's just unable to kill flesh eaters. Every time he's about to chop off a flesh eater's head, he's takes a little poop in his pants
Yeah,
and he
shits himself.
just freezes up.
Um,
It's his stomach gets all grumbly, falls to the ground. He's like, "Ugh."
and it's always the last strike. He get man. Oh, and
Mhm.
so this they
We're retroactively explaining this here.
yeah they go for the arms first to like, cut one arm off, second arm off, and then go for the head.
Yeah,
For
Kemonozume's power is in its arms, so to speak,
yeah
because it's like their most prominent feature. These big claw, spooky dooky arms, and yeah, the Kemonozume. Yeah, you chop off both arms so they can't move, and then you cut their head off.
and anyway, but he gets the arms and then
He's unable. Yeah,
whiffs
he's
on the
unable to
head.
chop off the head.
But that's not that's like where we pick up, but that's like background shit to the actual story.
Hmm.
um
The story really picks up when he meets Yuka
yeah,
Kamitsuki.
falling out the fucking sky in a parachute. um
Hmm. Yeah, he
Anyway,
meets her after chasing
it's
a funny monkey named Saru. I love that
yeah,
monkey. The monkey's the best character in the whole show.
I don't disagree actually.
And then they what they
It's your
instantly fall in
classic
love.
boy meets girl, boy fucks girl.
Yeah. Except it's not the monkey. He's not fucking the monkey. It's the woman.
No, it's
He's banging the woman, not the monkey.
of course. Fucking hell.
Okay.
Oh god.
But spoilers for the end of episode one. Turns out she's actually a monster. Uh
Yeah.
oh.
Whoa, she's a flesh eater. Surprise, surprise. And then he's like, it's like this whole thing where they're running away from the Kifuken.
Yeah, he decides to
Um,
run away with her from the Kifukan, protect her, and stuff goes on from there.
yeah. And it's like, honestly, actually, I want to talk about this. I I felt like this series tried to do too many plot lines at once.
Hmm.
It
It does a lot. It's an action,
it does
horror,
a lot.
romance, drama, like sci-fi. It
Mystery,
does
governmental political plot, sort of
family drama. Just oh,
slice of life for an episode. I think.
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Mythology. It packs a lot in there,
there's a lot there.
and yeah, I
It
think it.
anyway. Basic plot line is, I guess, the biggest plot line that kind of kicks everything else off is Toshihiko
Yeah,
runs off with Yuko, and they're running away.
Yuka.
Yuka,
Yeah, and they're running away,
and
and the
then
kimonos or the Kifuken are after them, and the other Kemonozume or whatever the flesh eaters
are also
are
after
trying to
them.
are after Yuka. They want
Yeah,
to get Yuka back. Yuka back.
and then they also, but then like there's also this whole like uh
Subplot of
uh
people
uh
turning into these
do
flesh
we
eaters and stuff.
actually, out of curiosity, so anyway, uh what Toshihiko's dad, who was like the leader of the Kifuken, and
Yes.
he was gonna pass down the Kifuken to Toshihiko next,
Hmm.
he
Is
he
the
is
heir, yeah.
murdered.
And everybody
um
assumes it's Yuka after
yeah,
finding out that Yuka's a flesh eater and was
except
in
it
the area.
we're never told if it was or not, right?
We kind of are.
I mean, I'm guessing not, and actually I just had a thought that explains it, but we'll get into that in a second later.
We are led to believe a different thing. I
Right,
don't think it's ever
exactly.
explicitly said, but you
It
kind
makes
of
sense.
you're like, okay.
Anyway, but yeah, so there's also like a murder plot. So Yuka is framed for the murder of this dude. Um and that's kind of what happened. And then they're
Yeah.
all running away, and then like the Kifukin slowly crumble and get like
Yeah, without Toshihiko there, the Kibuken are slowly falling apart with uh
his brother in
Toshihiko's
charge.
brother comes in charge and he wants to add a lot of new things to the Kifuken. And there's another
Modernizing,
older yeah, modernize the Kifuken. Then there's another older member, Kyotaro Uba, who is
who's
runs a
making a
separate
power grab.
organization and he's trying to make a power play out of the death of this guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are happening in the Kifuken while Toshihiko's gone.
Yeah.
And yeah, we get like a lots of there's so much stuff that goes on, and yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is a general thing of early Yuasa where it just has bad pacing.
Yep. No, none of it made sense. it
It makes
okay, it
sense,
made
but it's like
sense, but it was just too much at once.
I think I think this is a prominent issue in a lot of his works is the pacing becomes awkward because he starts the work with a very like this show has knows where it's going at first. You can tell where stuff's going to go, and that
Yeah.
and it picks up really quickly. They don't spend any time dawdling on the idea of drawing out this thing of Yuka's actually a flesh eater, but Toshihiko doesn't know. No, he finds out in like episode 2,
Yeah,
like the start of episode
yeah.
2 and shit, you know, or middle or end, somewhere really early on in the story. They don't drag that out, and they push it right into like the second act really quickly.
Yeah.
But then the second act goes on forever, and we
Uh-huh.
have a lot of these middle episodes that don't do much. They're still really
Yeah,
interesting episodes, which we could talk about later.
for sure.
But there's a lot that don't really push the plot forward, or like any form of like the main antagonist, or what? Yeah, just any bits of the plot forward too much,
No, yeah, it
and are
was
just really interesting episodic stories.
yeah.
And I
Except,
think
well,
that's
there were some
and then it,
pieces that tied in, but like
yeah, but it's you know,
ultimately episodic.
and then it
And
just kind of has a very rushed conclusion, so
yeah,
to speak. It feels like, whoa, wait, what? Oh my god, we're at the
no,
conclusion.
it literally the conclusion was 2 episodes, right? With
It's
no build up.
yeah. The
Um,
pacing is very similar to that of Mind Game, which is his first film that he made with Studio 4C,
yeah,
which is even more artistically ambitious in some
I
ways
see. Uh-huh.
than Kemonozume. It's a lot more out there.
Which we should talk
And
about actually the art. But do
yeah,
you want to keep going through the plot
I'll go
first,
about like
or
well, I'll just talk about Mind Game for a
all
second.
right?
Mind Game also has like the same issues of like it's super like it goes by really fast. Like the first bit of it, the first 20 minutes, so much shit happens. And then they spend like there's like an hour long bit where the main cast is just all in one area
Yeah.
and just kind of hanging out. And then the conclusion for the movie is 5 minutes, and the conclusion is like, this is a
Uh-huh.
conclusion to a movie. Here's the climactic bit. Your
I
blood is
see.
now rushing. I
Interesting.
think that's also similar to his work after this, Kaiba. I think that like some of the pacing is a little bit better than Mind Game and Kaiba, but it also has like a very rushed conclusion.
Uh-huh.
But it's one of those stories that focuses even more on its kind of episodic stories, especially early on.
Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about the art style?
Sure.
Because that's probably
Yes.
the most interesting part of any Yuasa work.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. The art style at first almost made me not want to watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
It
it's
it
crude.
totally threw me off. I was because it's just not what I was expecting, basically.
Mm,
Um, which is like fine, and honestly, in my opinion, it improved later on, and I kind of adjusted more to it. But
mm,
like the opening sequence is among the least clear defined, just as far as art style goes. Um,
yeah, it's very loose,
exactly. And actually
especially
no,
with like character aspect ratios.
and they did that a lot in most of their like 30-second openings,
Mhm,
actually. But later on, the clarity of the art gets better, which makes it a little easier to follow, at least in my opinion.
I
Um,
think it's you just kind of get adjusted to it.
that too.
It's a lot of it as well.
Actually, the fucking teeth. Oh my god. I couldn't not notice the teeth constantly.
Of the characters?
Yeah,
Really?
they're just so there all the time, and it so throws me off.
Wow, I didn't even notice that.
um, I don't know why I noticed that, but it
I
was
think a
just
lot of
like
this, like,
constantly, just like I zeroed in on the mouth, and I was like, "Those are teeth. That's teeth." Um,
yeah, I mean, a lot of that has to do
and
with like
then
the character designer. What's his name? Nobutake Ito. He ended up working a lot with. I think he worked on like some key animation for Mind Game, and they continued to work as a character designer for Yuasa.
uh-huh.
Like, I think this is even like the least, like
Interesting.
the least formed of any of the character designs, the least defined in a way.
Yeah.
Because there's yeah, the animators take a lot of freedom in the way the characters move and their
Uh-huh. Which is it's really
dimensions.
interesting, and actually it grew on me through the
No,
show.
it's really fun. I think the
Um,
crude aesthetic definitely works for it, especially in its horror elements.
yeah.
Like a lot of the
Oh
weird
yeah.
body horror stuff works really well in
Oh
this
god.
kind
Ugh.
of gross art style. Same with the nudity.
Uh-huh.
This show has a lot of nudity. If you didn't
A,
notice,
a
there's
a
sex a
lot.
lot. There's
It's
naked people a
very
lot,
much.
but
Yeah.
it's also not hot because all the characters look like really shitty sketches,
Yeah.
and just
It
extremely crude
it's
sketches,
it's
and it's
it's
really
it's
funny.
interesting how they make those scenes almost like scary.
hmm I think it definitely keeps up
I mean,
its
that's
horror elements.
part of that is because like there was a whole thing about how when certain people, the flesh eaters,
The flesh eaters, yeah,
get was it just
just horny,
excited. I'll
excited.
use that. It's the more what
Yeah, it's
SFW
just
term. Excited, wink wink, nudge nudge. you know what I mean.
When they're boning.
Anyway, and so whenever they get excited, they start to shift into their flesh eater form and want to kill people. Um, and lose control, which is like a
So
whole
definitely,
thing.
yeah. So you're definitely on edge in these moments when like the two main characters are trying to do it,
Yeah.
and they're trying to like Yuka's trying to resist becoming a flesh eater and just eating Toshihiko. Very like the nasty looking art definitely adds to that. Well, it's like
Oh
even though
yeah.
the art is nasty, it's the animation's incredibly well done. There's some really good looking
Um,
scenes. Just
oh
like
yeah.
in the way they flow. The key animators were there for it. I think dude, the amount of styles it uses as well, like the amount of mediums it crosses with like I mean it uses CG in some
Yeah.
bits. I think
I
that's
I
one of the,
will
actually that's one of the least used bits. It
it
uses actually
happens
like
much later on. There are like three
mhm.
instances that
And
I
some of it's like
noticed.
action bits, especially
Uh-huh.
towards the climax.
There
But
was
before that, there's a lot of live action moments or
I
rotoscoped moments. Did you
yeah.
notice the rotoscoping? I think it's like episode
Not
11
maybe.
where she's like picking up a bottle in episode 11 and you get this close up of a hand and it's very obviously like super flowing like okay, that's rotoscoped.
I don't know actually.
And it's kind of weird because
Um
the show kind of uses that stuff randomly or in its 30-second opening bits to just fuck around with that type of stuff.
yeah.
Like
And
I don't remember which episode it was, but there's that one opening
can
with
I
like
can
the
I can I make an observation?
yeah, okay.
You pick a lot of animes that have live shots of food. I don't know what that says, but you do.
It's okay. Look, I like it when they do that. I think that's fun when they do that. I think that's fun when they add the live action into the anime. I think that's a
Yeah,
very fun
it's
part of the
very
anime.
interesting. Anyway, I don't
And the
there's no
rotoscoping.
reason for that observation, but
Yeah, also they
it's
have
fun.
what I don't remember what episode's 30-second opening it was. It starts with a nude woman though, but it was drawn with like it was just very very sketch heavy, like sketch
Uh-huh.
heavier than
I remember that one, I think.
it
Um,
reminded me honestly
Let me
of
skim
the like
through.
crayon episode that they did of Kare Kano.
Was
His and
it
Her Circumstances.
no, not that one. Was it episode 10 maybe?
Probably episode 10 or 11, I think, later on in the series.
Yeah, I think so actually. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's episode 10. Um, anyway, it doesn't matter. Uh, yeah, it was crazy though. It was really, really crazy. Um, Fascinating too. And like, I don't,
Mhm.
I don't, there wasn't like, was there hidden themes in this? Or are we gonna go all like English teacher on this?
Alright.
Um,
Can I just talk about the art style for, like, a few
yeah,
more minutes?
yeah.
Because like, there's a lot of stuff to do with this. Okay, so, like, Yuasa releases Mind Game. Mind Game has a lot more live action bits. One of my favorite things in Mind Game, I'm just gonna gush about Mind Game because that movie is
All right.
really good, even though, like, the pacing blows ass, it's still a really good watch, and it's a fucking acid trip of a film.
Lovely.
That movie has a sex scene that is like the equivalent to the sex scenes like the belladonna of like sadness, but
Yeah.
even more colorful. It's insane. Um, the live action they have for like all the close up shots, pretty much of characters' faces, are done in live action with
Oh,
like anime hair drawn on top of them, like in the anime world. But it's like the live action
interesting. I
actor's
see.
face, and that is like a really fun bit. I would have loved to
Do
see
you know
that
if it's
more.
the VAs or
I'm not sure. I didn't look that up. I'm. This was not. We were not researching Mind Game here. I was
okay,
researching
fair enough.
this thing.
Fair enough.
But I'm pretty sure. Well, he did Mind Game as his first directorial work, and he wasn't even like going to do that. Studio 4C is like a studio that was known for being like really experimental
Uh-huh.
with what they make, and like making a lot of cool early 3D animated stuff, and having a lot of stuff similar to art style in like Kemonozume, and just kind
Yeah.
of being cruder looking. Uh, and Yuan had been working there for a while as like an animation director,
Gotcha.
and one of the co-founders of the studio read this manga, or some yeah, read the manga for Mind Game, and they're trying to think of a director to do it, and they're like, "This fits Yuasa's style." They just kind of handed it to him. They're like, "Direct this, do this,"
Oh, interesting.
and
So
so he did
he's
it, and he made his weirdo wacky production that is Mind Game.
yeah,
He kind of
and
got pushed
then
into doing it,
people liked it,
and
and so he kept going.
kind of I think there's a quote. I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna quote this correctly. Paraphrasing here. Something along the lines of like, if I kept up this style, my career wouldn't last. Like,
Oh,
and that
yeah.
sort of thing of just being that experimental, because it
Uh-huh.
just wouldn't garner a big enough audience. But it did garner the attention of Masao Maruyama, who is the co-founder of Studio Madhouse and the co-founder of Studio Mappa. After he
Gotcha.
left Madhouse, I think he left Mappa and started another studio. This dude is known for just finding, like, making animated projects and finding like early directors who like other producers wouldn't fund because they're like it's too much of a risk
Yeah.
monetarily, and Maruyama is just there for it, and he just wants to see some weirdo shit sometimes.
It's like
And so
gambling,
he
but
kind
on a
of
bigger scale.
he just he gave Yuasa the chance to direct something over at Madhouse, and they let him just do over like I don't know, like I think Maruyama just had the influence to let Yuasa do his own work, like with no
Uh-huh.
source material attached to it, which
Gotcha.
was like completely insane
So
for a dude
was
directing a second
this
work.
has no source
This has no
material?
source material. No,
Oh,
this is all
wow.
just
That's insane.
mind
That's
jumble.
even cooler,
Yeah,
sort of. That's also kind of, I don't know. I don't it's disturbing that anybody would come up with it. A little bit. But it's cool.
I mean, I think Kemonozume got like what was it? It says here was awarded a jury selection prize at the Japan Media Arts Festival,
I
and
see.
then like that kind of furthered his success, and he was able to make a lot more works with Studio Madhouse, and then he's like a pretty popular director now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like over the years, you can definitely tell his style is a lot less than what it used to be. It's a lot like more toned down,
Uh-huh. That makes
and
sense.
I mean like it's still wacky. You still look at Devilman Crybaby, you're like, what, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, this shit's wacky. This shit's goofy. The art's crazy, but it's definitely not to like this kind of crude point that is Kemonozune.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to get into next? That was my bit about the animation. Do you want to talk about the
Uh,
monkey? We're talking about the
sure.
monkey now. This is the
Okay.
monkey segment. There's a character in the show. His name is Saru, which I think, dude, actually,
It's never
let me
said, is
just,
it?
uh, that's like his name on AniList, and then Yuasa's studio is named Science Saru, which I just think is so funny. But the main character refers to him as Shusho, which is
Yeah.
like
It's
master.
master. Because he's weirdly convinced that this monkey is a
This
master martial artist.
oh, the
Um,
monkey's
despite
so cute.
despite the fact that the monkey almost kills him several times, I think, right?
Yeah, because this monkey is a devious little man, and he is
He's a
the
little
slapstick
shit.
element of the show, and he's the best thing to ever exist. He is so cute, and his art is kind of like just a really crude drawing of a sock monkey.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yep.
Yeah, and his whole thing is he likes peaches, which kind of plays into this whole Momotaro analogy that the show is going for that I didn't even recognize until they kind of explicitly say it towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking Sorry's got some of the best moments. There's a bit I think I added into like the edit here of the fucking monkey just like Toshiko is frozen because
Yeah.
you could just kind of press some pressure points on him and now he's frozen and plays into this whole goofy bit for the episode. And Saru just torments him. He pushes him into like a furnace and sets him on fire and then like pushes him like rides him down the stairs and into the ocean. I fucking loved it.
Oh, it was really funny. Um, Also, like, added to the tension of the episode too, somehow, at the same time. It, like, both relieved and added to the tension. Because,
Yeah.
like, it was really funny, and you knew kind of like nothing bad would happen.
It was just a
Um,
comedic little bit.
but at the same time, Saru was keeping, what's his face? Whatever,
Toshihiko.
Toshihiko, away from being able to protect Yuka, who was interacting with and trying to distract this private investigator that was hired to find them, who's
The private
also this
investigator.
fucking huge man.
He's the second best character, Bon.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, he's just he's this. He ends up. You find out later that he's the son of Kyotaro Uba. But this guy, he's just some big, simple-minded. Yeah, he's massive. Actually, he's like the size of a
He's
building.
and he's like
Actually, his
really
size changes from episode to episode. He's like an
he's
Ava unit.
yeah, he's really sweet though. Like he's actually kind of sweet and I kind of love him. Um
Oh, he's great. I love that he had a part to play in the finale.
Yeah, it was so good. Cuz okay, are we allowed to talk about the finale?
Yeah, yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, okay. Cuz
Just rush
so
right into the finale. No setup.
I okay, well okay then. Well, let's go through the plot a little more then, I guess.
All right.
Um boy meets girl, they run away. They're being hunted.
Yeah, basically by
We missed out on the meanwhile, essentially. Um
yeah.
which
Meanwhile, there's the brother, the main character's brother, Kazuma, who's trying to run the place, and he's struggling. He's trying to like add robots to the mix.
he's trying to
Replace hunters
modernize
with
them.
like mecha suits and shit. And he's trying to get like be like officially recognized by the government. And he's been working with Kyotaro Uba for this, who owns another company. What was the
Yeah.
company's name? It's like
Well, no, he
OQ.
oh no, it was OQ was like the shorthand for it,
Yeah.
essentially. But yeah. Um
And he's been
anyway,
part of the dojo for a while,
for
Kyotaro, and
it
he's
was two generations was the
mhm. And he's
uh
been like he's kind of been working with Kazuma
mhm,
to try and get them as part of the government by
supposedly. Um
supposedly. It turns out, big spoilers, he's the big bad guy of the show.
oh my god, whoa. Anyway, yeah. He anyway, long story short, the Kifukin kind of goes to shit due to a number of bad
I
decisions
mean,
plus
like, they're running
bad
out of
plotting.
funding. They're just, shit's going down. There's
They
too
were
many monsters for people to
they
their
tried to
small team
turn
to
into
handle.
a stock run company, but then they
Yeah, they
were
tried
like
to.
essentially bought out by Uber.
Yeah,
Um,
Uber convinced them to become open trade, bought them
yeah,
out, screwed them over,
and
and
started
meanwhile
feeding them medicine,
he and yeah, he's also been producing on the side. He works. OQ is actually a like
quote unquote
pharmaceutical
medical
company.
company. Yeah.
Yeah, and he sells a drug that just fucking turns people into flesh eaters,
Well,
pretty
no,
much.
what it does is it removes pain. That's
Hmm.
it. And removes pain and makes them like physically stronger and faster. But oh no, side effect. Haha. Uh they're flesh eaters now.
Yeah, people start turning into flesh eaters and stuff. You get the 30-second opening bits are mostly dedicated to that.
Yeah.
Of just seeing these side random characters that you never see again just turn to flesh eaters. My favorite is the man in the nursery home.
Yeah.
That bit's
That
hilarious.
was
Oh my
really
god.
funny.
He gets excited staring at some nurse's cleavage and just tries to eat her, but he has no teeth. Ah, it's so
And
goofy.
supposedly it's like a miracle medicine too that like it heals everything,
Yeah,
but it
it heals
doesn't.
everything, but downside you turn into a flesh-eating monster.
Um
Um, Kyotaro is also completely fucking insane, and he has done a secret thing called the Kemonozume secret technique, which involves
yeah,
cutting off your own arms and replacing them with flesh eater arms, and then you're pretty much just a flesh eater at that point.
which is plot twist complicated about whose arms he's using anyway. Um
Yeah.
but anyway, which actually we should maybe talk about the background of the Kemonozumi uh method, right?
I don't know how
The,
like important that is.
uh
I don't even fucking remember.
well,
I
it
kind of
was
just want to like hit the important plot points here.
yeah, fair enough. If you want to know that, watch the show.
Yeah,
Um
I mean, there's some stuff involving the main character's father and stuff like that.
we're giving you a rough
Um,
overview. It's not going
when
to
it
be
comes to like the
everything.
other more main characters, there's Rie, and she is pretty much pointless to the plot, except for the fact that she like sleeps with the main character once, and
Yeah, which is like
she's. I
never
mean,
mentioned and glossed over. Like
yeah, I think that was another thing that was just kind of like
it was
edged out due to
unnecessary.
pacing. I feel
Um
like it was an interesting aspect
it
to like bring out parts of the characters, but I don't think it was like added onto enough the fact that the main character cheats on Yuko with her.
it could have been a thing, but it wasn't a thing, and so because it wasn't a thing, it shouldn't have been there.
Yeah,
That's
I
kind
mean
of it.
she was like she's kind of the love triangle the person who loses the love triangle, the
she's
childhood
the
best friend
childhood
character.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um.
her character's interesting and kind of depressing towards the end.
Yeah.
So are,
Um.
like, most of the
Well,
characters,
no,
honestly.
she's kind of um the pivotal character in the climax, which is
I
really
guess that's true.
interesting. Um.
But, like, for most of the show, she's just kinda there
Yeah.
supporting,
Which
Kazuma and
actually,
then being
which
depressed that she can't see
also
Toshihiko.
arguably improves her character because her whole character point is that she's upset that she's kind of constantly sidelined. But
Yeah.
she's also
Her
sidelined
character
by
ends
the
up just
story, so like it doesn't matter.
her character just ends up being a thing to improve other characters and not being
Kind
much of
of.
her own
Yeah.
character. Toshihiko is a little swordsman. We talked about him. His whole thing is he's trying to bang a bitch, but she keeps turning into a monster and trying to eat him every time he does. And how does he get around that?
And then yeah, then he
And how
keeps
does he
on
get
her.
over his
And
mommy issues and shit?
which actually is also Yuka's mom.
Yes, yeah. You find out that his stepmother uh turns out to be Yuka's mom or whatever. And
Which
that like a
yeah.
lot of that stuff is there's so much here that just isn't touched on
No,
enough. It's
not at
still a really
all.
good show, but it's like if they showed like another I don't know if this show used one of its other episodes better, or for just like
Yeah.
more. Yuka is the daughter of I I think she's just daughter of two flesh eaters, and she's a flesh eater, and
Yeah.
she's in love with
Um,
Toshiko,
yeah,
and she's trying to become human. It's this weird
supposedly. It's well,
thing of her
there's
trying
a
to
rumor
suppress
about
her.
being able to turn human. Um,
Yes, okay, like a lot of stuff they mention
anyway,
like once or
we
twice.
should we cover
I
more about the fall of the Kifuken?
I'll just talk about like we can talk about Kazuma and that leads into that.
Yeah,
Kazuma
yeah, let's do that.
Okay, Kazuma Momoda is the brother or half brother
Half
of
brother.
Toshihiko,
Yeah,
and the other half being Yuka's mom,
yeah,
which means that he's half flesh eater, which means that he's just a flesh eater.
sort of.
But
Except it's not.
he's really good at suppressing it. That's
Well,
his whole thing. He's never
it's
eaten
not that he's
anybody.
really good at suppressing it. He's actually incredibly bad at suppressing it.
Is
Um,
that what it is?
Yeah, it's just that he never eaten octopus, which I don't know why specifically
Oh
octopus
yeah.
sets it off.
I mean, it's
Um,
this weird balance of him being able to he is able to suppress it. I think better than
no,
others, and right?
no, because he didn't
No, once
know.
you
He was slowly going insane
well,
during
that's
that
true.
time.
I think it's like
It was just
it's
getting
not that
worse
he
and
was
worse and
better
worse.
at suppressing, it's just, like, his body had suppressed it for so long, I
Exactly.
guess, is what I was
He
trying to
was
say with that,
very bad
yeah.
at suppressing it once he kind of realized and once it got out of hand.
Yeah.
Um,
That was, like, on top of a few other things. He becomes, the lead of the head of the Kifuken. He is in love with Rie, the girl without much character.
except the thing is, like, he wasn't.
Eh,
Like,
it
he
was he's more of a
supposedly he
syndrome of,
was. But like I think it
his
was
character
more
is really
so
more based around
feeling like he was overshadowed by Toshihiko.
yeah, and so
Um
he wanted the things his brother had. He's got a bit of an inferiority complex, especially being,
yeah.
like, the half-brother. He didn't feel as close to his father as Toshihiko was. He
Yeah.
wasn't as good at
Well,
sword
and
fighting as
he
Toshihiko
wasn't,
was, which leads him to want to like make robots instead of using swords.
and part of
You
that
know?
is also because he wasn't tapped as the heir.
Hmm.
Toshihiko was
Well,
going to
yeah.
be the heir.
Even though
Um
like Kazuma had like more ambitions than Toshihiko, I
yeah.
think he's probably actually one of the most interesting characters.
Well, no, Toshihiko initially had ambitions, but then he met
Yeah,
Yuka and then that was all out the window.
yeah, but it's like,
Um
eh. Yeah, Kazuma I think is one of the more interesting characters in the
very much
show.
so. But anyway, and then
He's got
long
a
story
lot going on.
he gets manipulated, turned in, revealed that he's a flesh eater by Uba, into getting screwing over the Kifuken.
Yeah. Also,
That's the build up. That's the build
if
up
you
to the
want
climax.
to bring up the idea of, I think he was the one who killed Toshiko's father and his own father.
Really?
Yeah, right?
No,
Why not?
no, I don't think so. Um, but
What?
I don't think so.
Who do you think it is then?
I think Uba did. Um,
You think Uba did it?
Yep. Yes, I do.
Really?
Be
I thought it was Kazuma because
do
like
do
I
do
thought
you do you remember the clones?
that's true. I
That
thought it was Kazuma who had gone kind of out of hand in a moment of weakness,
well, no, but
and
we
Uba had caught on to that.
we saw the scene. Kazuma wasn't involved at all, and Kazuma
Wait, what? Dude, am I
Kazuma
misremember this?
yes, you are. And I will fix this.
Which
Um
episode is this? What?
so no. So Kazuma doesn't start getting out of hand until way after his father's death because he doesn't eat octopus until after his father's dead when Uba convinces him why follow a rule when you don't know why. Um
Hmm.
and but anyway, so uh there's a scene. We see the scene of their dad dying and getting murdered. Um and there's actually is Yuka's mom there. She's actually there.
Oh yeah.
And but then the camera pans down, we see essentially what looks like her skin flop to the ground.
Oh yeah.
Like
So it was
burst
Uba.
and flop to the ground. And then
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. No, yeah.
their
I thought it
dad's
was just
dead.
like I completely forgot about that because I kind of just took that as like the dad just fucking tripping before he died.
Yeah. Well,
That bit
anyway,
where he sees his wife.
we
Yeah.
we will get to the clones in a minute though, because I think we should now talk about Uba and the climax. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that point, Uba just doesn't seem like much of a character, and he slowly builds up
He's
into
he's a
being like, "Ooh, big reveal. He's the super
he's
uber bad
like
guy."
progressively seems creepier and creepier. He's a fucking creepy clown, is what he is.
Yeah, he kind of
That's his
just
entire character. He's a
by the
fucking
end of
creepy clown.
the, the series, he's completely lost it, and you're
Um,
like, "Oh my god." Yeah.
and he lo- anyway, he's doing experiments on the flesh eaters. He doesn't consider them to be human experiments. They're human experiments. Flesh eaters are arguably still people, despite the fact that
Yeah.
they eat flesh. Um, which is actually kind of the point of the show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is but anyway, he's doing human experiments on flesh eaters, chopping them up into bits and turning them into medicine and experiments and stuff. He's trying to like clone Yuka specifically, I think.
Mm. Yeah.
Um because he was like completely unhinged and in love with her mom and she looks identical to his mom. Or
True mom.
something like
Yeah.
that. To her mom. And then also actually and he also has, I think, her mom's DNA. Because plot twist, he Uba used the Kemonozume technique and used Yuka's mom's arms, so he has them. Which is
Yeah.
ugh, ugh, ugh. I don't want to think about what he did with those arms. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro,
Um,
such a weirdo pervert towards the end. He
I
is
know it
disgusting.
was
Grimy
disgusting.
little man.
Um,
Oh my god.
and anyway, uh, yeah, it was bad. And so he was trying to do cloning, which was one of his many experiments, which is why I think that it's never explicitly stated, but that's why I think he's the cause behind what's his
Mm-hmm.
face's death. Um,
Shigo's father's death. Yeah.
but then we also see he's also turning people into flesh eaters, which is why there's
Mm-hmm.
been a crazy rise in flesh eaters,
Using the
like
drug, he's been turning people
using the
into like flesh
drug.
eaters and stuff, so he
Um,
can get more data for his shit,
well, what he did
for his
was
scientific experiments,
he did
and
kind of a combination of he set up a drug that would prime people to turn into flesh eaters as soon as like a gas was released near them, but it also
yeah.
seemed like if they lost control earlier on they would turn into flesh eaters regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it
If
seemed
you
like.
if you have too much of the drug
Right.
and you get too agitated or something, I think. And yeah, no, it's definitely part. I mean, part of that was also to increase the number of like the amount of risk there is with flesh eaters to convince the government that what he's doing is needed
Yeah.
to get more government support, more money. And then as soon as he gets that, he just fucking kills people. I love that bit where there's the guy who comes into his office with like all of his security guards, and Uba
Yeah.
is like playing golf, and he just like clicks one button, and they're just all trapped in like tubes and
Yep. And
cemented
then
and thrown in
yep,
the ocean.
that was a scene. Um, anyway, oh, actually, prefacing the
Goofy little
climax,
moment.
Uba kidnaps Yuka. That's important.
Yeah,
Which also sets off the climax.
that was actually a
Um,
really cool scene. I like that scene at the 7-Eleven where he just
uh-huh.
fucking knocks out Toshihiko
Yep.
after he's kidnapped Yuka. That was a really the backgrounds for that scene were really mute and pretty.
Oh yeah. But anyway, so we have Toshihiko going back to the city to try to rescue Yuka from Uba.
Yeah,
We
he's there with
also
Bon, the
have
big guy,
Rie.
and Saru.
Yeah. We also have Rie going to the tower. Because she was told that by doing the Kemonozume
The
technique,
Kifuken. Or the not the yeah, Kemonozume. Yeah.
she could protect the Kifuken.
Jesus.
Um,
Tired.
we have Kazuma, going
Kazuma's chasing after her
chasing
because
after Rie because she promised she
he
wouldn't leave.
and
And
he
he's
knows
a
Uba's just fucking them over.
yeah. And then and yeah, so we have all of these people all converging on this one spot. Rie, no, yeah, Yuka and Uba are there first. Rie gets there. And then he turns her into a flesh eater.
And it has Yuka and Rie fight it
And
out.
then
I guess the cheating element was kind of like needed for that bit as like Yuka's kind of
kind of.
drive
Yeah,
of
no, that makes
jealousy
sense. It
over Rie,
wasn't
but I think it was like it was such a loose bit that was like shown there. It gets talked about for 2 seconds. They forget about it for like 3 episodes, and then it comes
yeah.
back as a motive in the climax.
And it's like it wasn't even it could have been motivated by anything else. Like Yuka was
Yeah.
insecure about her boob size. That was part of it.
I,
That was part
yeah.
of it. But anyway, yeah. So he has them fight each other as flesh eaters because Yuka's a flesh eater, but she's also supposedly like a pure-blooded flesh eater.
Well, yeah. She's the last of the pure bloods because Uba got greedy and just fucking used the rest of them for experiments and shit.
Yeah.
And the Kifukin have just been slowly killing them all off.
Um, and so with that,
Rie gets
Rie
fucking
dies.
chopped up. Yeah, she gets mauled.
And then Kazuma finds Rie, eats her,
And
I think, right?
yeah, he goes fucking insane. I mean, Kazuma's already like at
No,
the
he's
edge of
already insane.
sanity. Yeah,
Um,
he's like he's lost his shit. He's going like 90,000 miles an hour down the road to show up to Uba's place and his Uba's massive fucking tower, which I think is just so sick looking
oh yeah, it's so
internally and
cool.
externally. It's yeah,
Um,
the
and
design for that was super cool.
anyway, so Kazuma's insane. He eats Rie, which is like it plays into the horror element so much.
It was kind of meant to be like romantic,
I,
I guess, too.
no, no, it wasn't.
In like a horrific way,
Ugh,
body
ugh.
horror romance shit.
No, no, it wasn't.
What was it? Kazuma fucking fights Uba, and he gets
Then he gets murked. He's dead.
yeah, he gets killed pretty much.
Um,
Yeah, Kazuma gets,
and then Uba
that bit
actually
comes so
gets
quickly.
Uba gets powered up by the fact that he like consumes Kazuma too.
No, it was he cut off Kazuma's limbs and those attached to his legs. I think
That
that's what it
yeah,
was, right?
same difference. That's what I said.
Yeah,
Um,
he digivolved into like a super flesh eater.
which was scary. And then Toshihiko arrives, has coffee with this ex Kifuken.
Yeah, do you want to talk
Um,
about this bit here? This is where they bring up the Momotaro bit, which is the Momotaro analogy that I like. You only notice
yeah.
once it's really pointed out. The dude's name is Momota,
Uh-huh.
which probably should have been the Toshihiko Momota, Momotaro. Like and then like he gets like if you don't know the thing, Momotaro is famously known for it's a folk tale in Japan about a dude who kills demons with the help of what was it? It's a monkey and a who's Momotaro's companions?
I couldn't tell you. Um,
Monkey, pheasant, and a dog. I assume Uba is meant to, or Bon Saiji Uba
yeah.
is meant to be the pheasant, and then
Uh-huh.
the old man be the dog, I guess.
I see.
The monkey's the main bit. The monkey chasing down the
Yeah.
peaches. That's the main bit of the
um,
Momotaro.
anyway, yeah.
Honestly.
So they have coffee with his ex Kifuken, um,
Which is Rie's father.
which is Rie's father. Uh, Rie is dead by this point, I think.
Yeah.
And anyway, they try to convince him to help. He decides no, then he decides yes. He kind of waffles for a little bit. Um, and
And they
then
go, okay, time to raid the tower.
they do, and then Bone is like, "Daddy, stop."
Daddy,
Um,
chill.
um, except in a really deep voice because he's huge.
Daddy,
And
chill.
no, please don't. Uh, uh,
And then fucking yeah, Kyotaro Uba becomes a Garfield OC by just
uh,
becoming a complete cosmic horror at
oh
that
God, it
point.
was
It
so
is
bad.
oh
He
my
was
god,
like
everything just
liquid.
happens
Um,
there. It's so
and
ridiculous.
what's his face? Toshihiko loses an arm. It's a whole fight scene.
Shit
I
goes down. I Kyotaro Uba, he just fucking sends off a ball that's filled with gas. That'll make everybody turn into fucking flesh eaters off like some ramp onto the bridge of Tokyo. It's
yeah.
completely ridiculous at this point.
And then I don't know. It's
The
hard to
writers' room was just
describe.
having a field day with
Long
the
story
concept
short,
for this ending.
watch the episodes 12 and 13 if you wanted to see this bit.
Watch the whole show. It's a good
Yeah.
show. It's
I do genuinely recommend it. But anyway, so we have that all happen, and then like surprise surprise plot armor, Yuka and Toshihiko are fine, plus Bon is fine, plus Saru,
and then I oh
plus the
well
old
the ending
guy.
is the ending's fucking ridiculous because instead of anybody actually killing Uba, a fucking government just like drops a bomb on his
Well,
tower.
no, yeah, but also Uba splattered against the pavement.
Yeah.
Because he tried to
Yeah,
fly
it's
away, and then Toshihiko ripped off his
it
wings once
was
they were
yeah,
like
like yeah,
wicked
they
high in
fucking cut off his
space.
head. He's like some weird monster thing that's just morphing around. He becomes like a winged bird. He just falls to the ground and fucking dies, and then his entire building gets
Yeah,
blown up,
and
and it's so
also
ridiculous.
Toshihiko is trying to is falling. Yuka saves him. It's a whole thing. And then we have our ending scene, which is all of them in a plane, or which is Yuka, Toshihiko,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
uh, Bon,
monkey, old
Saru,
man.
old man,
Yeah.
in a plane, and then uh Yuka's like, haha, well, despite all that shit, I don't think I can stay with you because I'm a monster. And despite the fact that you've proven time and time again you don't give a shit about your well-being, um and you just want to fuck, I'm going to leave. Uh and
And then he's like, "No, I'm
she
going
jumps out of
after you."
plane, and then he's like, no. She has a parachute. Note. He jumps out the
He gets a
plane after her without a parachute and is like, Yuka, save me! And then it's like romantic kiss in the middle of the air. We don't know what happens to them later.
no, you do
Everybody
get to see
flies.
that
That's true.
in the
Everybody
ending
flies
credits where they
away.
just kind of stand around in this really cool place in this really cool
Um,
liminal space.
and yeah,
I
happy ending for next to nobody.
for
Uh,
like yeah, two characters. I thought that was kind of a great bit that
well,
just
no,
so many characters were
Bon,
killed in a
Bone
fitting
and the
way.
old guy were also had a happy ending.
Yeah.
They were
Well, I guess
traveling.
the old guy's daughter died, and he's also like off his rocker. I guess the monkey had his happy ending when he met the female monkey with all of the monkey children.
Well, I don't know if he looked too happy about that. I'm not gonna lie.
That's true. I mean,
Um,
that's on him though. Okay, he got her
yeah.
pregnant, man.
Um,
It's the monkey's fault.
yeah. Oh, and like side note, it wasn't that important to the story, but like Yuka was pregnant for the
Oh
entire
yeah,
show.
Jesus, I forgot all that entire plotline.
I
That was
know.
such an underutilized plotline. Jesus, this
And
show
like
and
it was
having like really interesting things that you think are going to be in some way important, but just create like character drama for an episode.
oh yeah. It was a
Oh
mess.
my god.
But anyway,
There's so
yeah.
much stuff that was really good in it, and then
It
it's like there's so much stuff they kept adding on to.
it could have been like three different series and still been fine.
Yeah. I
Um
think yeah, the ending was so fucking cliche. I felt like that had to be kind of ironic.
I
Come
think
on, she's like you go through this entire show and she's just like, "Okay, I'm going to still leave you because bye bye."
yeah.
And
But
he's like,
I
"No,
don't
I
know.
still love you because restate the thesis. You are human."
I do genuinely think that it's worth watching even after listening, watching, however the fuck you're consuming this. Um, because we didn't do it justice.
I
Um,
mean, we skipped all the middle episodes, and honestly, I think those are the strongest parts in a way.
yeah, no, that
You have
makes
some really
sense.
good, interesting side stories, like the ones where they meet the
Um,
old couple, and other stuff, like the episode where they introduce Bones' character, and you got like the whole 5 minute sequence of hanging out with Saru.
yeah,
There's a lot of stuff, and it's definitely just at least for the visuals too. There's a lot of interesting stuff
it's a
going on with
time.
the visuals.
I recommend.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
I'd say it's probably the least popular of Yuasa's works too. I don't think I've like ever heard any real discussion about Kifuken, especially compared to like a lot of his other stuff, which gets talked about much more. I guess I haven't heard much about his newer movies, like Glue Over the Wall, but I think that's like is that a kids movie? I don't know. I wouldn't know. I haven't heard anything about that shit.
I don't know.
But this is one of his like early works, and it's not too talked about. I
Yeah.
think it's definitely worth the watch, especially if you like Yuasa's style. Mm. Also, the soundtrack slaps. We
It
keep
was
forgetting to
pretty
talk about the
good.
soundtrack.
Yeah. That was fun.
It's fitting. It's got some good jazz in there. I
Oh
liked
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. I think yeah. Yeah, it was a whole last time though. I don't know. I'm out of thoughts. I don't know
Your
about you.
thoughts? I'm pretty out of thoughts for this show.
All right,
I
sick.
think
Let's do the thing where we like actually tell people what to watch for next time. And
Chizu Monogatari.
that's
There
the
you go.
thing. You heard it here first. Because that's the only place you'll ever hear it. Uh, yeah, watch Kizumonogatari for next. Uh, what's it gonna be? Next couple weeks. Next
2 weeks
episode.
from now.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, depending. Well, no, it'll be okay. If you're watching this on Twitch, 2 weeks from now. If you're watching this on YouTube, 2 weeks from now when you're watching it. Assuming you're watching it on the day it came out. 2 weeks from the day it came out on YouTube.
Jesus
If you're
Christ,
watching it
dude,
on
you're making
YouTube.
this too complicated for
I
yourself.
am. I am. I'm. Hey, but you know what? I'm the editor. I can cut this out.
You know what? Instead, I'm just going to talk about Crows. I've been reading this manga called Crows. It is the best manga
Okay,
I've
let's hear
ever
it.
read. Um, it is about Harumichi Boya. His personality trait is that he is cool. Um,
Uh,
he's this manga is a delinquent manga. It's about a guy and he's a new kid to this school, second year of high school. It's the new kid on the block, and it turns out he's really good at punching other guys. And the
Interesting.
manga is basically about him going around and punching guys at other
Yeah.
schools and beating a
Lovely.
lot of dudes up. And he is hilarious. His entire personality is punching people and being horny. So I think
So that's okay.
I
That's
I relate
that's
to him
every
on a
show you
personal level.
watch. That's
I
I.
relate to him on a personal
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
there's
know.
like no female characters either in this entire manga because he goes to an all boys school where all they do is smoke and beat each other up.
Lovely.
And then like I'm kind of at the point. I'm not even that far in. I'm like 3 volumes in, 3 to 4 volumes. He's kind of become like the leader of his school,
Yeah.
and he's like beating up kids from other schools now, like these whole gangs. It's some genuine bro shit.
I see.
My favorite fight so far has been his fight versus like the legendary Rinda man, who's meant to be the strongest guy at his school. And big spoilers for the fight. They tie, but they don't realize it because when Harumichi gets knocked out, they both knock each other out at the same time. When Harumichi gets knocked out, he falls into the river and just like floats off. And when he wakes up, he thinks that he lost the fight. And when Rindaman wakes up and nobody's there, he thinks he lost the fight, and nobody knows who won the fight.
I
And so they
see.
both think they both lost, and they have this really awkward character dynamic now.
Lovely. Okay, that's cool. That's
I recommend Crows because
do it.
Crows is
Read
sick.
it. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out too. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. You can find us on YouTube at Morningstar Productions. Uh, yeah, find us there. And it's a fun time. Also Spotify and Google Podcasts, I think. I think. I don't know. Nobody listens on it there anyway. Check us out elsewhere, and we'll see you next time with Kizu Monogatari.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye. You gotta say bye too, Todd. It's very
Oh, bye.
important. All right. Bye, y'all. Late Night Anime is produced by Morningstar Productions. We record live on Twitch at twitch.tv/sleeplessbee every other Friday. Episodes are available on YouTube at Morningstar Productions, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for joining us.